Welcome back, everyone. If you're looking for more calls and clients, then you're in the right place. I know that when it comes to getting more clients, that most people are really just interested in more traffic channels. But today, we're going to look at the whole view of how to just build your business and get your first client overall. So jumping right in here, the first step when it comes to getting your first client is to get your mindset right, especially related to sales and confidence. Now, I know that learning these two skills is easier said than done, but starting with the confidence part, the easiest and fastest way to do this is to sign up any free clients if you must, or cheap if you can, just to get any type of testimonials and to learn more about what your audience actually wants and can use. The other half of getting your mindset right has much more to do with sales. Now, I know that a lot of people say, I don't want to be salesy. I don't want to bother people. Okay, that's all great and good, but keep in mind that what most people are really saying is, I am afraid of rejection. I am afraid that if I make an offer, that somebody will say no. Now, there's definitely a lot more to sales that I can definitely not say in just one topic or one video, and I'm sure that I have plenty of other videos on my channel, by the way. But the main thing to keep in mind here is that selling is doing your prospects and audience a favor, because keep in mind that human psychology keeps us attached to the status quo, aka to not changing anything, not buying anything, and really not even doing anything. So just keep in mind that when you are making offers, when you are selling, when you are pitching, when you are promoting, of course, you probably don't want to overdo this proportionately, especially in your content and so forth, but just keep in mind that all selling is doing the world a favor. The next step to getting your first client is to identify who you want that client to be. I know you've probably heard about and probably watched other videos about creating your customer avatar, like this one. But the simple point here is that you can't hit a target if you don't know what the target is, and if you aren't clarified at what you're actually aiming at. One simple example here is that if you are a health coach or personal trainer or something like that, you could say, I help people who want to lose weight. While that might work if you have a significant amount of traffic or if Oprah mentions you or something, a much better way of phrasing this and of positioning your entire business is by saying something like, I help new moms who want to lose that baby weight, or I help marathon runners who want to run a faster mile, or I help busy executives who want to keep in touch with their health and eat healthy, or pretty much anything like that. The next step to booking your first client kind of touches on the thing that we just mentioned, which is to clarify your niche. So in the previous topic, we just mentioned identifying who you are going after. But now focused on your niche, this is much more focused on what you actually help them to achieve. So for example, if you say, I help small businesses to, small businesses is a terrible wide open target customer, by the way, but you can somewhat make up with that by identifying what you help them to do. So if you are going to stick with these small businesses target audience, you could differentiate yourself by saying, I help small businesses to grow their email list to 1,000, or to reduce their refund rate, or to book more discovery calls. So just keep that in mind, that regardless of who you target, although that is important, you definitely want to identify what you actually help them to do. And you can actually summarize those last 2 points by filling in this phrase, which I talk about a lot, which is, I help blank to blank. The next step to booking your first client is to create one offer and sales letter. Now, I know you're probably thinking, but I want to launch a course and I want to get clients and I want to offer a service and I want to offer private coaching and I want to offer a workbook and all types of other things like that. And you definitely can and even should do that later on, but at least to get started and maybe even continuing on, so there are huge benefits to simply having one signature offer. You can learn more about how to create an irresistible offer here here. But jumping on the other half of this, which has to do with a sales letter, this is a little bit more of a copywriting topic. But if you're not familiar with sales letters, you can kind of think of this as a pitch or kind of what you write on a sales page. So the general format to this is start with a catchy headline, explain their problem, talk about who you're talking to and what you help them to do. Then you build some trust. Then you say your offer, you neutralize some objections, and then you give them a call to action and tell them what to do. So sales letters can definitely get more advanced than this, but that's pretty much the overall summary. The next step to booking your first client is to commit and to create content on just one channel. Now, you actually have some leeway here. You can choose, since you already clarified where your target customers are and what they do and so forth, you can definitely choose which direction you go here for which platform you want to publish on. This could be LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and plenty more like that. Now, one thing I will emphasize here that I've already said is to commit to one. I know that especially new entrepreneurs have this urge to be everywhere and to be everything to everyone. They say, I want to be everywhere. I want to be on Pinterest and on Reddit and on Facebook and on Instagram and on YouTube and on X, Y, and Z. But that is definitely going to spread you way too thin and increases your chance of burnout and even disliking your business as a whole. So when you do choose your platform, try to focus on one, the type of content that you actually like to produce and maybe even consume, and more importantly, what type of content your audience wants. Now, there are tons of benefits to creating at least some content, which include building trust and authority, which are maybe the most important things that you need to do. So don't worry if you can't produce 5 YouTube videos a week or 10 Instagram posts a week or whatever it might be. Just try to be consistent on whatever rate of content production that you can. The next step to booking your first client is to build your funnel. Now, if you're not familiar with funnels already, they are definitely not as complicated as they might sound. It pretty much means give your audience a way to get in touch with you, which is clearly what you want them to do. So whether you want them to download your ebook or to book a call or whatever type of action that you want them to do, your goal is to make their path to doing that as easy as possible. The next step to booking your first client is to create a call script. Now, I'm going to go ahead and assume that you're probably aiming to sell something that costs over $2,000, or at least you should. And if you are selling something at this price point, just keep in mind that just an ad or just a webinar or just an ebook is simply not going to do it when it comes to persuading somebody to buy some type of high ticket product or service. I've made tons of other videos on how to run and manage your discovery calls, which you can find here. But in any case, you at least want to have some type of roadmap or script to actually say and to run those important discovery/sales calls. The next step to get your first client is to generate traffic. In other words, to get attention from people who might be interested. When people talk about getting clients, this is usually the step they're really talking about, which is really just generating traffic and getting attention. Now, there's actually literally over 100 ways to do this. Now, yes, you can produce content and hope that they come to you, but there's plenty of outbound methods as well, such as ads or a DM or direct message strategy. You can ask people you know for referrals. So there's no shortage of ways to get people's attention that might be interested. So just keep that in mind that might be the most important step, or at least the first step when it comes to generating clients. The next step to getting your first client is to actually get on those calls and to refine your script. So we already talked about getting your script ready and building your funnel to prepare for those incoming calls. So now, of course, the next step is to actually get on those calls. Now, if it's just your first few ones, don't worry if things don't go smoothly, or if they say no, or they don't want it, or they don't have enough money, or whatever. Because your main goal, at least for those first few calls, is mainly just to get a feel for what their problems actually are, the things that are stopping them, and just to tune up your script and just to get some live call experience. The next step to getting your first client, or pretty much any clients, might be the most important, which is to follow up, whether they buy or not. Now, keep in mind, no matter how great your offer or package or service or product is, most people, just based on probability, won't be ready to buy right away. So this is where follow-up comes in. Probably the best way to do this is to set a follow-up call on that initial discovery call if you can. Because let's put it this way, if you don't book a follow-up call, you're probably never going to hear from them again. Now, there are many reasons for this, which I'm sure you can relate to. Life comes up, people get busy, they forget what your offer is, their general sense of excitement and hype just naturally goes down. So I actually thank people when they follow up with me. If somebody messages me or DMs me 5 times in a row and I don't respond out of any of those 5 times, then I actually do thank them for following up, whether I'm interested in what they have or not. Because if I wasn't interested at all, then I would probably block them or unsubscribe. Now, this goes back to the sales mindset that I mentioned in topic number 1, which means to remember that you are not bothering them. Don't have a fear of being pushy or salesy or annoying or anything like that. Like I said, if they're not interested, they'll unsubscribe, they'll block, and so forth. But in most cases, people actually do need to be reminded, and you're doing them a favor. And the absolute most important step to getting your first client is to hit the like button and subscribe below. If you learned something interesting today, it does help a lot. For more help generating leads and clients, then grab my free guide below for the 21 ways to book more calls and clients. Well, that wraps us up for today. Thanks everyone for stopping by, and I'll see you on the next one.